in Philadelphia. They were rioting. I get all day long. It was like a Vietnam movie. I'm sitting in my yard. All I hear is explosions, helicopters, and police sirens. I couldn't get a cop to come in my house. I hadn't loaded my gun in years. I have a personal gun. My gun was loaded and it was sitting on the table next to me. And in the same breath they said, "Guns are bad. We need to take your guns."
Hey, Patriots. You know, it's probably not a lot of tougher jobs and ones that people have that are trying to hold this thing together as it's falling apart. Speak to a lot of law enforcement out there. Like, who's going to attract, people in the government and law enforcement and stuff. And this guy's a probation officer in Philly. Not the easiest job in the world. And he just, telling us like it is, and most of the things we already know, which, things have fallen apart. And this guy is right there trying to, hold it together. And he's seen it all firsthand just fall apart. So, I applaud these guys because I don't know if I could do it, what they're doing. I'd obviously wind up getting fired because I'm not one that can keep my mouth shut, obviously. And he says one thing in there that it's probably pretty prophetic. It might has to do with vigilantism. Might be the only way out of this, but I don't know. It's hard to see how a corrupt government is going to correct itself. It always comes down to us. But I never said it'd be easy. Well, you know what you do. If you like it, you like it. If you care, you share. If you can contribute. BadAssUnlceSam.com. Hit the shop button or the donation button. I sure would appreciate it. And thank you for coming by. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you on the flip side.
I'm state parole back in Philadelphia.
State parole?
Yeah.
Oh, you're busy.
Yeah, you can
Maybe. Hey there, man. I don't know. Because you hear so many stories about, well, in the hell they're paroling these days and who they're letting out of jail.
They're letting everybody out of jail and they're sending nobody back.
5 gas, 9:45 a.m.
I know that for a fact.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. It's a disgrace.
What is it? The Soros prosecutors? Is it? Who
Well, the Soros prosecutor, Philadelphia has one of them. He's even worse. He'll charge a cop in a heartbeat, hold him without bail, but he'll let a convicted murderer. He don't believe in the death penalty or life without parole, so he gives him 30. A friend of my wife's son was murdered, and he gave him 30 to life. I said, well, I got no problem. Give him parole. When that kid can get a job, then he can get out of jail. I think that's fair. Right? Over a cell phone, they shot him right in front of his mom. But no, he doesn't deserve life. What I'd like to see is a family member that's on their way out, wait for him to get out, and blow him away, and say, now we got justice.
When is enough going to be enough? Because I know there's enough rank and file. They're fed up with this.
We'll find out in the election if they don't steal it. That's what they're working on. It's a disgrace. The prosecutors, the governors. They put all these old people back in nursing homes. but yet they let inmates out of jail because of COVID.
Well, look what they just did with the cell phones, a Mueller cell phone. 31 cell phones got wiped clean
If Trump did that,
by accident.
If Trump did that, he would have been impeached, because even the spineless Republicans in the Senate would have been
Thank you.
But they let it go. Well, Hillary did the same thing. They grabbed hammers.
Yes, that's what I said. If there's any one thing that I run into the frustration out here with people is like,
Watch your back, Shane.
they're tired of seeing them get away with everything and us get prosecuted for everything.
They're a separate class of people. They're the elite. They can do whatever they want. Pelosi showed you.
Yeah.
Goes, gets her hair done with no mask. I don't care if you were set up or not. Here's the thing. If that disease was as bad as you said it was, then why didn't you would at least have I'm keeping my mask on.
But if it's as bad as to say it is, why aren't these people dead? This is a petri dish over here. All these homeless people hanging out.
Yeah.
It's a petri dish. Why aren't they dead?
Why ain't they working?
Thank you.
You ain't telling me nothing. They sit there on the edge. You see the two cops that got shot in L.A.?
Yes, what the hell?
And then they're blocking.
And that looked like a little kid that did it.
It might have been. He might have been his gang initiation.
Thank you. That's what I was thinking.
So when they catch him, there's no way he'll get, because you can't execute a juvenile.
Right.
But maybe he'll be stupid and draw a gun on the cops.
Yeah.
And then he'll get done that way.
Yeah.
No, it's a disgrace. And then they were blocking the entryway, not to let the ambulance in. Every one of them should have been arrested for conspiracy to commit murder.
Thank you. And
But
the same ones that started the arson fires, they should be.
That's attempted murder.
Thank you.
How do you
Well,
sit
no,
there?
people died.
How do you sit there and chain up a police district and use quick dry cement and then light a building on fire with people in it and not get charged? Well, because it's all Democrat towns that are doing it. The mayor of my city left Philadelphia, tells you we can't go, we can't eat in, we have to wear a mask. Goes down to Maryland without a mask and eats in. Because it's a fraud. It's a fraud. The whole thing's a fraud.
Thank you.
It's about keeping the economy tanked.
Control a virus.
Yep. Lung AIDS. They got so many people so afraid of it because a lot of people believe it.
Yeah.
And they're scared to death of it. And they'll attack other citizens because they're not wearing a mask.
But more and more their hypocrisy getting shown. Like, let's bring up the fires in the Northwest, right? Climate change, and then the next day, 4 people get arrested for arson for starting the fires.
They pull on people's heartstrings, and the morons in the middle, which is what I call them, these undecideds, these independents, are people that are just too weak to say what they really stand for. And then they say, oh my God, the climate's changed, or these college kids that come out of college all brainwashed.
I'm running more and more out here in the street because the street's a common denominator.
Right.
You know that of being a law enforcement. This is a common denominator. I'm running into more and more people saying this. Wait, I'm switching. I was a Democrat all my life. I'm moving. Enough of this crap. Because they're shooting themselves in the foot with this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, they think it's a winning. That's why they keep pumping it. Well, first of all, they lied. This is peaceful, Nadler. It's a myth.
Yeah.
It's a myth.
Yeah.
These are peaceful. I love when CNN does it. Meanwhile, it's all burning down behind them, and they're sitting there like this, all stupid look, and people. But to see people buying it. My friend's father is a lifelong Democrat. He's like 80, and
yeah, but he's 80. He ain't gonna change.
Well, and he turns around and he says, what do you think about these statues and all that? And he turns around and he says, start watching another channel that's all lies. It's like, you know, lies, it's happened. But
he's 80. I mean, he ain't gonna change.
Everything Trump steps into, though, he corrects. Because how many statues got, since he said we're going to prosecute you, how many of them got, you know why? Because all them teachers and all that are behind it.
Oh, yeah.
No, they're going to get prosecuted.
Yeah.
And the same thing, them towns where he gets the National Guard activated,
well, when are we going to start prosecuting? That's the thing is, when are we going to start seeing some real prosecution?
The feds are prosecuting who they can, but they only have limited space, and it can only be a federal crime. But them towns are all run by the governors are Democrats. They're not going to prosecute them.
How do you feel about Bill Barr? You have faith in him?
I don't know. I did, but I'm starting to wonder, because I keep hearing that we're going to start. If this goes to after the election, he loses, it's all gone. Because he'll get fired, Durham will get fired, they'll all be gone. Nobody will say nothing about them firing them. If Trump would have fired somebody investigating Republicans, it would have been the biggest scandal ever.
You think the people, the Patriots will stand for that, though? I'm talking a lot. You saw that guy Patriotic stood before the city council out there in California. Says we ain't coming back here waving flags next time. We're coming back here locked and loaded.
It's one thing. It's one thing to say that, but once they have control, they control all the apparatuses, and they're not going. Like you see how they did it with the Tea Party. The Tea Party was violent. They were out of control. They didn't do nothing. The streets, you could eat off the streets when they got done, but they paint Republicans and conservatives as being anti-freedom, anti-this, and the media pushes it, and most people that aren't political start believing it. That's the problem.
I'm having a little bit more faith than the fact that I'm seeing more people reject, because most people are starting to look at the media and go, but they don't even watch the media anymore.
They're not trusted.
They're getting from social networks and stuff, or from underground. Mm-hmm. They're rejecting the media altogether, because there's only so much you can be lied to.
But the social media is even worse now.
Yeah.
You see what Twitter's doing. They're starting to censor conservatives.
But people see that and they go someplace else. It's like InfoWars gets censored and they become more popular.
I was never on Twitter and all that to begin with.
Yeah.
I signed up for Parler just because it pisses off the media. Yeah. You can't control it. They know Twitter will shut it down.
Well, that's it. People are shifting over to places that are where the Patriots go, where you're not getting censored. So more and more people are getting their information from there.
Right.
And so we're bypassing them. So I think, I have more faith. I think that I don't think there's no way that Trump can lose.
The mail-in ballots. You seen what they did to Norm Coleman? Norm Coleman won that election, and all of a sudden they found just enough votes in the trunk somewhere.
I don't think people are going to stand for it. Come on. Joe Biden, the guy can't find his socks for crying out loud.
He's a Trojan horse. The only reason they put him up was to take the union vote, because he was always known to be a union guy.
Yeah, but unions don't even like him.
I know. He's done. It's a shame what they're doing to him is elder abuse, because he's definitely suffering from dementia.
Yes.
But it's all to get that moron that couldn't even get 5% of her own vote in.
Yes.
That Kamala Harris, and then God knows if once he goes, who she'll name as vice president. Who knows? Well, I don't think she'll be Bernie, but I could see being Cortez or one of the real leftists. Because by the time she gets done, Cortez will be old enough to run for president. Being vice president for 8 years gives her that step right in. I don't think he's going. I'm hoping. I'm listening to kind of what you see a lot of people that are switching. You're hearing a lot of people that are switching.
Yeah.
A lot of people are really getting tired of this crap where these guys are these riots.
Yeah.
It's one thing to sit there and say, okay, you protest, and I'll even though it's a false narrative, I'll support the protest. But when they start burning cities down, blowing shit up,
how much is this?
Everything's done by donation. Whatever you'd like to give.
Really?
You can actually get that on apparel too. So you walk around and piss liberals off. And all my stuff comes with a trigger back guarantee. If you don't trigger a liberal, you get your money back. It's on the back of this get out of jail free card from Hillary Clinton. It's good for any crime in the world. Check out my YouTube channel on the back of my shop.
I got a couple of nice Trump shirts at home. How can I annoy you today?
Yeah.
Am I able to get this online?
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
Yes.
Get it online? Yeah. You probably have a whole bunch more stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'd rather just go and see what you have.
Yeah. You get like.
Okay. That'll work. Yeah,
where are you guys from?
Huntsville, Alabama.
Great.
But I'm originally from Delaware. Never going back up north.
No, a lot of military, and Huntsville is sort of like the Silicon Valley of the South.
They have an arsenal there.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that, but that's what that is. Yeah.
When I saw your shop, I said, this is probably the one shop in New Orleans I actually have. And I've been going in all her damn shops, and I'm like, this is one shop I want to damn go to.
Now, let me ask you the rank and file. I mean, what I see is I hear is a lot of when you get into the brass, they seem to be more corrupt and going along with the plan. But the rank and file seem to be still more grounded and,
So it all depends. Not that they're corrupt. As you go up, they have agendas. Like, on top of my chain, they're all about prison reform and getting everybody. Pennsylvania just shut down 2 prisons. They're looking to shut down a 3rd. And they're wondering why we have record homicides and shootings in Philadelphia now because you got all these scumbags on the street.
Now, that prison reform has been, from what I understand, it looks like it was taken advantage of in the sense like there was one, when it started out, it was, all right, let's let all the nonviolence out, you know, but then they started letting out.
There's a lot of false narrative to that. You'll get a guy that's a corner drug dealer in Philadelphia, and he gets arrested for possession with intent to deliver. It's a nonviolent crime. He's not nonviolent. You can't be a corner drug dealer in Philadelphia and not be violent. You got people that rob you. You have to fight for you. Them guys have bodies and all on them. They've never been caught.
Now, here's another thing. The drug laws, as far as I'm concerned, I'm a libertarian in this sense. I think there should be one drug that's illegal, and that's devil's breath. That's a date rape drug. That's a date, you know, you wouldn't take it yourself.
Right.
But anything that you take yourself, when you get of age, you ought to be educated what every drug does. And when you get of age, if you want to do it, here, get out of the gene pool as quickly as possible, you stupid son of a bitch. Get out, you know?
See, there's the problem with that whole premise. See, and I had this conversation. They don't talk to you about the full side effects of all these drugs, even like marijuana.
Well, they don't educate you.
Right. Early onset, the schizophrenia, and all kinds of stuff like that. Plus, it takes your inhibition. People don't want to work. You know, some
right,
people
but you ought to be educated. It's just like alcohol. Alcohol's got to be one of the most destructive drugs in the world. But it took an amendment to make it illegal.
Right.
Well, where's the amendment to make all the drugs illegal?
Well, my argument with my nephew over that was, I said I would have no problem if you want to legalize it, like you said, if you're an adult, you make a decision. However, with that, I'm taking away all federal funding.
Yes, you're on your own. Treatment and everything, you're on your own.
All that. That's right. My nephew, well, you can't do that. I said, why can't I?
Yeah.
If you're adult enough to decide that you want to use heroin, you're adult enough to pay for it.
Thank you. Once you get on that stuff, you're exempt from any. You made your own decision. You live with that.
But your guys on the left, they turn around, they want you to pay for their treatment.
Yeah, what the hell with them?
Pay for them to live so they can just sit and put a needle in their arm all day.
That's right.
We were walking down, what street was it, right? Canal Street last night. It looked like Kensington, well, a bad neighborhood. I seen guys slumping over, you know. It's a disgrace to walk through that.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, but like I said, if you're going to legalize it, I get you, because you'll still have a black market for it, because the government will tax the shit out of it, and somebody will sell cheaper on the street.
Just you can't get federal funding or government.
Yeah,
thank you. Yeah, but what I see is like, because it breeds a lot of corruption too.
Yeah.
You know,
If you're on it, if you're on it, you're not eligible for welfare.
Yeah,
either.
I mean, I believe that like most of our politicians are probably getting paid off by the drug lords.
They get paid off by a lot of different people. It might not be the drug, but some lobbying.
Oh, sure, yeah, the pharmaceutical company, you name it, it goes on and on. They ain't listening to us, that's for damn sure.
No, well, then that's the thing. Our government doesn't represent us any longer.
Thank you.
I mean, Pelosi's been in government, 40-something years? What she ever done, maybe when she first came in, but now she's just a name. She runs, she blinks, nobody challenges her. You know, they don't represent us as a people anymore. They don't represent our values.
Well, but he got in.
Yeah, but you remember before the election, the media propped him up. They created him because they thought it would be a joke and that it would be an easy win for her. I think they were more afraid of Ted Cruz than him, which I think he did. But they didn't expect. See, the one thing he's smart, he does. You never see a Republican do it. He don't apologize.
Thank you.
Half the stuff that gets thrown at most of these other Republicans would apologize. Well, you know, I know this wasn't right, and I didn't mean it this way. And they look weak, and that's why they lose. He don't apologize.
Yeah.
He comes out and he looks strong, and he says what he means. He might not be the most articulate guy. I mean, Reagan definitely had a silver tongue, but he's done more even than Reagan. If you really look at what he's done more for religious freedom. That's what people get. They're trying to take your. I mean, you could go to a club, you could go get weed and you can go get liquor, but you couldn't go to church. Right?
See, that's the hypocrisy people are looking at.
Yeah.
They're going, well, wait a second.
And I'm not a big churchgoer, but that being said,
But mean nothing. That's just common sense. You ought to be, you ought to look at that the way something wrong.
they want to take my country.
Yeah.
I was in Philadelphia. They were rioting. All day long. It was like a Vietnam movie. I'm sitting in my yard. All I hear is explosions, helicopters, and police sirens. I couldn't get a cop to come in my house. I didn't load my gun in years. I have a personal gun. my gun was loaded and it was sitting on the table next to me, and they and in the same breath they said, guns are bad, we need to take your guns. You know, like all of a sudden all these bad guys are going to turn around and hand their guns.
There you go.
I'll let you go. It was nice.
All right, it's a pleasure, guys.
Load your guns. I can't see things getting any easier because as the rats get cornered, they don't give up. They get more ferocious. If you like it, you like it. If you care, share. If you can, you can contribute. Or can't do anything else, please pray for me out there. Prayers are obviously working, so keep it up, will you? And I'll see you on the street.